Let the games begin. The 2025 silly season Formula One is well underway already. After the bombshell news that Lewis Hamilton is leaving Mercedes at the end of 2024 to go to Ferrari, it has kickstarted a musical chairs of drivers to decide who is going where, but most importantly, who is taking over Lewis Hamilton's seat at Mercedes. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at who has the best shot of taking over Lewis Hamilton's old seat. Guys, make sure you are subscribed to Racing Direct for all of the Formula One and motorsport updates. Let's get into it. Now, there really is a select handful of drivers that have a clear-cut shot at getting this seat. Jumping right into it, we obviously have Carlos Sainz. We already know he is the driver who is making way for Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari. They've already confirmed that Hamilton and Leclerc will be the Ferrari pairing. That means Sainz is without a seat for 2025. So, technically, there is a possibility that he could do some sort of swap deal with Mercedes and Ferrari. However, I do not believe that is very likely. Sainz has much stronger ties to a couple other teams. The first one being Aston Martin. There is what sounds like there could be two possible vacant seats at the end of 2024. Might sound crazy, but yes, Stroll is on the hot seat, and Alonso, who knows where he's going to go. Get to that in a second. But Sainz has a much stronger tie to Aston Martin. He also has a stronger tie to Audi. Obviously, they're not coming until 2026, but he might be eyeing a spot in the Sauber team in 2025 to get to grips with that car before their new title sponsor and manufacturer takes over. Not to mention Carlos Sainz Sr. still has a very strong connection to the Audi brand thanks to all of his success at the Dakar Rally. So, Carlos Sainz going to Mercedes, probably not going to happen. The next interesting take, though, is Alex Albon from Williams. Obviously, Toto Wolff kind of poached him off Red Bull in some ways. We know that Albon was a Red Bull driver for a long time, coming up from the ranks through Toro Rosso and then to Red Bull. Didn't really work out there, but his comeback to Williams, a Mercedes-supported team, has gone very well. Albon is definitely proving himself as a vastly improved driver, and it seems like he could fit in very well with that Mercedes team. He's obviously very good friends with George Russell too, and now that they both have experience racing for Williams, that could sort of help them maybe develop a better car at Mercedes working together with all of their experience and expertise. However, while it sounds like a good idea on paper, someone was very quick to come and shut down these rumors, and that is one Mr. James Vowles. The team principal of Williams did come out to shut down any rumors of Albon leaving. He clearly stated Albon is signed for the 2025 season with Williams, and that's that. He's not going anywhere. Now, obviously, we know that Hamilton was under contract to Mercedes for 2025, and he ended up leaving thanks to a release clause in that contract. Albon could potentially have a similar thing, but it sounds like Vowles, maybe some money would swing him to make a decision and say, okay, yeah, you can go, it's fine. But we really don't know what that contract includes. We'll just have to wait and see. But Albon is still a very legitimate candidate. The next one is the ageless veteran Fernando Alonso. This one might sound a little bizarre to some people, but as we already know, Alonso is like a fine wine. He just keeps getting better with age, and it's pretty clear this guy can race until he's well into his 50s, it seems like, at the top level of motorsport. He's absolutely unbelievable. He was incredible for Aston Martin this past season, and now it sounds like he might actually have a chance to make an even bigger step up to a championship contending Mercedes. Now, we know that with Hamilton out of the picture, George Russell is sort of the golden boy at Mercedes, and maybe some veteran presence from Alonso could really help him improve his own career, but it would also help the team improve the car as well. That being said, we know that Alonso, while he has changed in recent times, he doesn't necessarily have the best track record working with young, up-and-coming drivers, especially in a Mercedes-powered car. You all remember what happened in the 2007 season with Lewis Hamilton. However, as mentioned, given the benefit of the doubt, Fernando Alonso is a changed man. However, he will be definitely gunning for another Drivers' Championship if he does get that seat. If the opportunity came knocking for him to leave Aston and go to Mercedes, I think he would definitely take it. We'll just have to see if Toto Wolff is intrigued in employing Fernando Alonso in his team. Another name that is, for some reason, floating out there is Mick Schumacher. This one doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. However, we do have to mention it because there are rumors out there that he is a candidate. Of course, he is the third driver for Mercedes, their current reserve, However, he's also signed a deal to drive in the full World Endurance Championship with the Alpine Hypercar. So he has ties to Alpine and Mercedes. Now, if a Mercedes F1 deal came knocking, he would obviously say see you later to the Hypercar at Alpine and take it in a heartbeat. However, Schumacher's track record in Formula 1 wasn't very good. A lot of just sort of lackluster performances at Haas. Obviously, the car was not good, so he did not have good machinery to work with, but he never really showed too much promise. There were some flashes of brilliance. Unfortunately, there were a ton of accidents. We all know Gunther Steiner did not enjoy fixing those. So Schumacher going to Mercedes really does not seem very likely to me. He'll definitely still keep the reserve role, but beyond that, I don't think he's going to advance past that position. And the last intriguing one is Andrea Kimi Antonelli. 17 years old, going into his first season in Formula 2, is a Mercedes junior development driver. This guy has been picked by many people to be the next big star coming up through the ranks into Formula 1, following in the footsteps of Oscar Piastri. Obviously, his age will play a huge factor in this decision, and will Mercedes actually want to put a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old in a championship contending car in his rookie season? Obviously, it worked out pretty well for Lewis Hamilton when he went to McLaren, but it hasn't really happened very much in modern times. Oscar Piastri has been the closest going to a competitive McLaren. But Antonelli is still a legitimate candidate for this seat. Now, with the idea of Antonelli possibly going to a smaller team like Williams before making the jump to Mercedes, that brings me to my verdict on who I think is the most likely candidate to take the new spot at Mercedes. Now, for me, the most likely candidate who I believe is definitely going to take the seat at Mercedes in 2025 is Alex Albon. Yes, his team principal did clarify he's under contract at Williams for the next season. However, I believe it's pretty easy for Mercedes to cut a deal with James Vowles and Williams to get around that. For me, I think the deal between Toto and James will be Toto saying, we get Alex Albon in Mercedes in 2025, you will get Antonelli at Williams in 2025. That is going to be the trade-off, and that is one thing that I think Vowles is going to be very excited for, the prospect of having potentially the next Max Verstappen being a part of his team. I think he will definitely take that trade, and I think he will allow Alex to go and take the seat at Mercedes. Now, obviously, this is very opinionated, and this is just my thoughts on the topic, but guys, tell me who you think is going to end up driving alongside George Russell at Mercedes in 2025. Leave those comments down below to give me your thoughts, and make sure you hit subscribe and like to keep up to date with everything in the world of F1 and motorsport. See you next time here on Racing Direct.